All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle something huge in the creative world, generative AI. We're going to cut through all the noise, the hype, and the fear, and really focus on one practical skill, a skill that can turn this powerful tech from a kind of frustrating toy into your most valuable creative partner. So let's get into it and learn the art of promptcraft. So, first things first, let's get our mindset right. I want you to stop thinking of AI as just some robot or a fancy search engine. Instead, think of it like this. It's a brilliant apprentice. Seriously, this thing has absorbed pretty much all of human knowledge. It can paint like a master, write like a poet, code like a genius. It never gets tired, and it's ready to go 24/7. But, and this is a big but, it's got one major flaw.
And yeah, this is the flaw we've all run into, right? For all of that incredible brilliance, the results can be just off. You ask for a picture of a person, and you get someone with 7 fingers on one hand. You ask it to write some ad copy, and it spits out something that's totally generic and soulless. It feels like this amazing power is right there, but just out of reach. So what's the deal?
Well, here's the big secret. The problem isn't the apprentice. The problem is us. It's the instructions we're giving it. I mean, think about it. A brilliant apprentice with a vague, confusing brief is, of course, going to produce confused work. If you want brilliant work, you have to get brilliant at giving instructions. And that skill, it has a name. Promptcraft. Now, the coolest thing about promptcraft is that it isn't some super technical skill. You don't need to be a coder. It's a creative skill. It's the art of being a director, of being a mentor. It's all about communicating your vision so clearly that your apprentice can take that spark and bring it to life. Perfectly. Okay, so where do we even start? Well, we start with the most fundamental rule of any creative project, whether you're talking to a person or an AI. So, our first rule? It's simple. You have got to provide context. This is the foundation that everything else is built on. And I mean, look at this. The difference is night and day. A vague brief like write an ad is basically asking the AI to read your mind. An ad for what? For who? It's a total guess. But a master's brief gives it that crucial context. Write an ad for a new coffee brand targeting city-dwelling millennials. Boom. Suddenly, the AI has a world to plan. It has an audience, a product, a vibe. And this really boils it all down. Without context, you're just rolling the dice, hoping for the best. But with context, you're asking for a specific result. You stop gambling and you start directing. You're steering the AI exactly where you want it to go. All right, so our apprentice has the context. It knows the what and the why. Now we need to give it the who. This brings us to rule number 2, assign a role. Think of yourself as a casting director. You don't just hand an actor a script, you tell them who they are. Just feel the difference here. Describe our new sneaker. You know what you're going to get, right? A boring, dry list of features. But watch what happens when we give it a role. You are a hype-focused sneaker blogger. Whoa. Instantly, everything changes. Suddenly, it has a personality. It knows the lingo, it knows the audience, it knows the tone. It's not just listing facts anymore, it's telling a story. And that's really the magic of this rule. Giving the AI a role gives it a point of view. Without that, it's just completing a task, checking a box. But with a point of view, it's creating something that actually connects with people, something that has a real perspective. Okay, rule 1, context. Rule 2, role. Now for the third piece of the puzzle. Our apprentice knows the why and the who. Now we need to define the container, let's call it. Rule number 3 is set the boundaries. This is where you give it the specific format and the constraints. You're defining the canvas. The difference here is just staggering. Write a social media post. What does that even mean? It could be anything. But look at what happens when we set clear boundaries. Write 3 Instagram captions, under 280 characters each, with a witty and confident tone, and include 3 relevant hashtags. Now our apprentice knows exactly what to do. It has a clear target, and the result is something you can actually use right away. This is such a critical point because it feels backwards at first. We tend to think that rules and constraints will stifle creativity, but that's not true. Actually, the exact opposite is true. Boundaries force you to be focused and innovative. So, giving your apprentice clear boundaries isn't limiting it. You're unleashing it to solve a very specific problem brilliantly. So we've got our 3 golden rules: context, role, and boundaries. But look, great creative work almost never happens in one shot. So the final piece of this whole promptcraft puzzle isn't another rule, it's a process. It's a creative dialogue. Your first prompt is just the opening line in a conversation. Think of it like this iterative loop, a kind of creative dance. You give the brief using our 3 rules, the AI comes back with a draft, and now that's where you, the director, step in. You look at what it came up with, and you give notes, make it funnier. Try that again, but a little more professional. Okay, I like that second one, give me 3 more versions just like it. You just keep refining and repeating until you have a masterpiece. All right, so let's put a bow on this. What are the big takeaways from Promptcraft? Number 1, always give it clear context. Number 2, assign a specific role to give it a point of view. Number 3, define the format and the boundaries. And finally, always remember it's a process. It's a dialogue of testing and iterating.
But if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this shift in your mindset. You are not just a passive user typing words into a box. You are the master. You are the artist, the creative director. The AI, that's your tool. It's your apprentice. And the quality of the work that comes out is a direct reflection of your vision and your direction.
So, that's where we land. The power is right there, just waiting. Your brilliant apprentice is ready to create anything you can possibly imagine, as long as you can explain it. The only question left is, what masterpiece are you going to direct it to create first? So, what's your first brief?